Really don't know, the business is fickle, I hope to do more.
Yes. What is happening in Hollywood that a guy that tough will be on the street waving a gun, screaming, "They are trying to kill me"?
But Martin, unfortunately, show business at a certain point in his life got the best of him. And when that happens, you see it happening, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Martin Lawrence was the king of 90s comedy. The man had Hollywood in the palm of his hand, sitcom hit on Fox, box office gold with Bad Boys, and a stage presence so magnetic it could bend metal. But behind the loud laughs and iconic catchphrases was a man unraveling.
Ring the bell, you call the nurse. You got ice on my shower. They just look at you like you nasty mother.
Slowly, publicly, and sometimes violently. For years, fans laughed with him. But nobody really saw the breakdown coming until it was too late. Until he was out in the street, waving a gun, screaming that, "They're trying to kill me." And baby, from that moment on, it was clear something had gone terribly wrong in the life of Martin Lawrence. Let's rewind. The year was 1996, and Martin wasn't just famous, he was everywhere. You couldn't flip through a channel or walk into a theater without seeing his face. But success has a price tag, and in Martin's case, it nearly cost him his life.
Between the two, and the network has a lot to do with that as well. They take care of the star, then everybody else is a piece of
One summer afternoon in Sherman Oaks, Los Angeles, Martin was spotted wandering in traffic, pacing, yelling, ranting about fighting the power. Pedestrians stood in disbelief, cars swerved, and when police rolled up, they found him with a loaded gun in his pocket. A-list actor or not, this wasn't a scene from a movie. This was a real-life meltdown.
Well, peace and a bottle of hair grease to you too, bro.
The kind of public spiral Hollywood loves to watch and quietly forget. At first, people whispered about seizures, missed medications, and stress. His doctors tried to clean up the narrative, blaming it on dehydration and exhaustion. But let's be real, nobody ends up screaming in traffic with a loaded firearm because they forgot to sip a Gatorade. Something much deeper was brewing, something darker, and that's when the cracks in Martin's perfect image started to show. Barely 3 months after the street incident, Martin was back in the news, this time caught trying to board a plane with a loaded Beretta 9mm handgun at Burbank Airport.
Thank you for saying that we look good and that I look good, because there's a rumor out there that I had a stroke. Man, that's totally not true. So I just want to clear that up. But I thank everybody for the concern and the love.
His excuse? He didn't know you couldn't fly state to state with a firearm. Child, please. By this point, people started asking the uncomfortable questions. Was Martin just spiraling, or was he running from something? Was he losing control of his fame, or was something, or someone, trying to break him? Now, while the tabloids were feasting on Martin's public meltdowns, things at home were even messier. He was going through a divorce with his then-wife Patricia, and the allegations were nothing short of terrifying. Court documents claimed Martin had threatened to kill her, not just her whole family. A restraining order was slapped on him, and Patricia described a man who was paranoid, unstable, and dangerous.
Let me ask you this. What is happening in Hollywood that a guy that tough will be on the street waving a gun, screaming, "They are trying to kill me"? Yeah. What's going on?
This wasn't the funny guy from Big Mama's house. This was a man unraveling at the seams, trying to hold on to whatever was left. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more scandalous, boom, the drama on The Martin Show exploded. Tisha Campbell, his co-star and on-screen wife, suddenly vanished from set. Fans were confused, the network panicked, and then the truth hit like a brick. Tisha filed a lawsuit claiming Martin had sexually harassed her. She said the environment on set had become intolerable. She refused to return unless something changed. HBO, desperate to keep the show alive, tried to pressure her back, but Tisha wasn't budging. Eventually, the lawsuit was settled behind closed doors, quietly, privately, but the damage was done. The once beloved sitcom ended with a whimper, not a bang. Publicly, Martin claimed he had chosen to walk away from the show. Years later, in a GQ interview, he repeated that story, that it was his decision to leave at the peak. But when Tisha was asked about it on The Talk, the look on her face said it all. "I was actually kind of shocked," she said, carefully choosing her words. Honey, the truth was bubbling under the surface, and everyone knew it. Now let's fast forward to the 2000s. Martin's name wasn't just connected to comedy anymore, it was being whispered alongside other troubled stars. One name in particular kept popping up, Diddy. That's right, Mr. Take That himself. Diddy and Martin had more in common than just fame. Both were black powerhouses in entertainment. Both had explosive tempers, and both were surrounded by yes men who protected their money machines, even if it meant covering up chaos.
And Martin had a stroke. He almost died. And then after that, I saw him, and I was like, oh my God, Martin, are you okay? And he said, I got the best sleep I ever got in my life. That's how tough he is.
Word on the street was that both Martin and Diddy created toxic environments, not just at work, but in their personal lives. Allegations of abuse, manipulation, and erratic behavior started swirling around Diddy just like they had with Martin. The difference? Martin's downfall played out in front of the world. Diddy's? Well, it's just getting started. And then there's Dave Chappelle, the comedic genius who idolized Martin growing up. Dave once said that Martin's success gave him hope. They even worked together on Blue Streak, and Dave described Martin like a big brother. But after witnessing Martin's meltdown, the screaming in the street, the paranoia, the coma, Dave began questioning the entire Hollywood machine. He famously said, "What is happening in Hollywood that a guy that tough will be on the street, waving a gun screaming they're trying to kill me?" That wasn't just concern, that was a warning shot. A message, because Dave had his own demons with the industry. And when he fled to Africa, people called him crazy. Just like they did with Martin. See, that's the pattern. Fame breaks people, especially when you're black, loud, and unapologetically yourself. The industry will take your fire, suck it dry, then throw you out when you burn out. And Martin? He was burning fast. His friend and former co-star Steve White compared him to Mike Tyson, a powerhouse with a heart too big for the wolves around him. Jaime Masada from the Laugh Factory said the fame changed Martin, that he started walking around with bodyguards, acting paranoid. He lost his humility, he lost his joy, and most tragically, he almost lost his life.
You know, the network has a lot to do with that as well. You know, they take care of the star, and then everybody else is a piece of shit. That's just how it goes down. And you know, you embrace being a piece of shit.
In August 1999, Martin's body literally gave out. He was jogging in the sweltering LA heat, wearing a plastic sauna suit to drop weight fast for an upcoming film. But instead of sweating off pounds, he collapsed from heat stroke. His body temperature hit 107 degrees. He fell into a coma. For 3 days, Martin lay unconscious. Doctors weren't sure he'd ever wake up. It was a miracle he survived. When he did, the man who once ruled comedy now had a new perspective. He said it felt like God laid him down and woke him up to see the world more clearly. That near-death experience humbled him, but it also haunted him. Years later, Martin joked about the coma on talk shows, saying it was the best sleep he ever had. Classic Martin. But the truth was, that moment changed him forever. He tried to walk a straighter path. He made peace with his ex-wife for the sake of their daughter. He tried to stay out of trouble, out of headlines. He claimed he didn't go to rehab, just checked himself for a day and bounced. But something in him had shifted. He wasn't the same. Then in 2024, the whispers started again. At the Bad Boys' Ride or Die premiere, Martin looked off. Standing beside Will Smith on top of a double-decker bus, Will was bouncing with energy, while Martin looked dazed, almost disconnected. Fans took to social media, speculating about a second stroke, a relapse, or worse. But Martin went on Ebro in the morning and shut it all down. He said he was just overwhelmed by the massive crowd, shocked by the turnout, and that he was fine. "I'm in God's hands," he said. "I'm blessed." But the rumors still lingered, because once someone falls apart publicly, the world never forgets. Martin Lawrence isn't just a comedian. He's a cautionary tale, a blueprint, a man who clawed his way to the top, nearly lost it all, and somehow found a way to smile through the pain. But Hollywood doesn't hand out second chances easily, and when the lights dim and the laughter fades, all that's left is the truth. And Martin's truth? It's messy, raw, tragic, and inspiring all at once. But one thing's for sure, the man's still standing, still waking up, still fighting the power, even if it nearly killed him.